Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are starting off on a new venture where we are going over set 2 leaders, or sorry, what leaders will look like in set 2. These are only my builds, right, and I will say this right off the bat, besides the Android 17 deck, which I'm fairly certain is a ridiculously strong deck next set, there are a lot of ways to interpret set 2 and what certain leaders will look like. For example, I built Beerus earlier, which is probably going to be the next recording I do tomorrow. There's just so many good options. There's so many good options now for colours that it's hard to fit them all into the deck at the ratios you want. So obviously, when people are looking at what I'm building, just take this as it's version 1, okay? This is under no testing. This is me going, on paper, this is how I think that this deck should look. Obviously, once we test, we then fine-tune the deck. You know, we add things in, we remove things that aren't working for us. But right now, this is how I feel that the deck should look. So again, with Android 17 and 18, this is my baby. It has been my baby on the channel since we basically started the channel. Everybody who's been following me since the beginning, they all know I absolutely love this leader. This is my favourite leader in the game. And in set 2, I don't think that's going to change, okay? So I'm going to go through, this is the creator view of Deck Planet, where we just go reveal card by card and we go over our turn 1s. What I'll do is I'll reveal everything, and then what I'll do is we'll go into turn by turn, and what I think that this is going to look like. But I did mention at the end of the last video, on the Broly video yesterday, that we have a way of going from 4 energy to 8 the very next turn. As in going to 8 active energy, so we can play Broly the very next turn on after we're at 4 energy. So I'll go over the deck and I'll show you exactly how that works, right? We're going to just start. So I've got this in order of energy cost, so it's set from 1 to 8, and then we have the extra cards at the end. So we'll go over them this way. So 4 Gokus is still the best cantrip for the deck. There's not much else to go over other than that. We have 3 Android 20s. I have said since the beginning I hate this card, right? I'm not a fan of this card, mainly because I don't like top 5 in particular. Top 3 is rough, top 5 is bad, right? The amount of times you're going to end up bottom decking cards that you don't want to bottom deck off of this card is going to be a lot. But it's necessary because for us to hit our curve so that we can get that Broly play as quickly as possible, you do need this card, okay? So it sucks, but we have it. We need to have this card. So this is a top 5 searcher for an Android 17 and an Android 18. In set 1, this card was absolute dog shit. It had no reason to be in this deck, right? And it just meant you were bottom decking cards you didn't want to bottom deck for very, very little gain. Now, we could potentially have very high gain, and the cards we bottom deck, yes, while punishing, might not punish us all that much quickly enough. So that's why it's there. I'm only running 3. Once again, it's just to do with deck space. There is potential to move the Goku to 3 and this to 4. But again, this is where testing is going to come in. We still run 4 Android 18. It's still the best turn 2 play. Honestly, draw 1, discard 1. For when we get to the Android ramp, we need Androids in the drop. This is a way to put them in the drop. That's the only reason. Okay? We run 2 of this Android 17. Once again, we needed to fill out 10Ks because we were kind of lacking when I put this together last night. We were lacking 10K combo power, plus we were lacking Androids, and I'll go over that in a second. But yes, this is pretty much the only reason it's here. This card will likely never ever be played. It's there just to be charged, and it's there just for 10K combo power. That's pretty much it. Okay. We run 3 of the Android 20s. This is our way if we don't see the 3 cost Jiro's Lab. This is our way of digging it out. Once again, I hate it because it's a top 10 search. So there's a very good chance you're bottom decking cards you don't want to bottom deck. But it's our oh shit button. It's our we don't have it on turn 3, we need it, right? So this is the best next thing. Not a great card, but it is also 10K combo. It is also an Android. So that's the reason it's in there. Then we have Trunks. So Trunks, we run 4 of. It's a 5K combo. On play, if you have 5 or more energy, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your energy in rest mode. Auto, once per turn, when your battle card with a cost of 5 or more is removed from the battle area by your opponent. Doesn't have to be skill, can be KO'd in battle, doesn't matter, it's just when it's removed from the battle area. This card gains 10k power until the end of your turn. So it becomes a 30k on your turn, a 30k defensively for the turn that happens. It's a good card for that. We're mainly using it for the ramp effect, okay? Then we have the 17 and 18. This is the new card. This, for me, this was the issue I had, is that I didn't know if I wanted this to replace Vegeta. Vegeta's ability to kill a 2-cost is so good. It's a great way of slowing our opponent down and ruining their tempo entirely. But for us to do the play that I want to do, we need this at 4. We need to see them. Okay, so on play, you place 2 cards from your energy in your drop, and if your leader's an Android 17, you add up to 3 cards with Android, that's the specific part. 3 cards with Android and their special traits from your drop to your energy in active mode. This is the important thing, okay? So we essentially, for 1 energy, and I'm air quoting here, for 1 energy, we're getting a 20k attacker that essentially has ramped us a card. It's a great card for Android 17. This is an absolute must, right? There is a way, like I said, I'll go over the cards first, and then we'll go over the plays, and I'll go over the ability, the ramping ability on turn 4. And then we still run Vegeta. 1, it's a 10k combo. That's the main reason. 2, if we don't see this, we still have a turn 4 ramp, right? That's the main reason it's there. But Vegeta is still an absolutely cracked card. Also, depending on how aggressive decks can be, again, with set 2, red is going to be very aggressive, I think. It's a way for us to control that board so that we're not just going to lose before we can get to that 8 energy. So there is potential that we don't do the Android 17-18, we do just play this instead. But in certain matchups, this is just by far the better play. Then we run 2 of the new Gohan. It's a 10k combo. The effect where all of your battle cards with a cost of 3 can't be removed by skills, that's meh. Again, they can't remove this, they can't remove this, that's pretty much it. Honestly, we don't really care about anything else. But it's the end of your turn effect, so the ability to just constantly KO a 3 or less every single turn as long as this is on the board, and it is a 30k, so it's difficult to remove. If yellow lock it down, we don't care. The end turn effect still applies, so we just get to keep KOing their battle cards. So that's the reason it's there, and it's a great card. I love this Gohan, I think it's such a good card. Then we run 3 Android Double Strikers. Again, we need to fill out Androids, and it's Double Strike. And we get to KO 2 cards. Very good card, right? No reason to go over this one. We run the Android Super Combo, mainly because when we ramp off of the field, we now have an Android. So if I Super Combo in the earlier turns, I now have an Android in drop. So that's the reason why we switched to the Android 16. For the Android leader specifically, it needed an Android Super Combo. We now have that. Plus, it plays into this 17 and 18 as well. If we do that maybe later on in the turns, depending on how our game's played out. If we've super comboed, we now have an additional Android in the drop for our ramp. So that's the reason it's there. It's a great card for this deck. 3 Broly's. We could have done 4. My issue is the amount of 0Ks we're about to run. And the next card, which I'll show you, is Cell. So we run 8 0Ks between this lot. I cut the Secret Rare. Secret Rare is okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. That's all I'll say. The Secret Rare for green is a card I've never been all that big on. Yes, for 7 energy we get to board wipe, or for 7 energy we get to swing 50k into our leader who's maybe on 1 life. Those are all great arguments, but it's a 0k combo. I still don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Cell is a weird one for this leader. We will never play Cell before we play Broly, or before we play the androids. The reason being is that we obviously place 3 cards from our energy into the drop. We do get to re-ramp them back, but we do it much slower than what Cell does. The Cell leader, I should say. So, for me, I'd never want to play this before I play Broly. I'd love to play Broly and then play this. That is the way I want to do it. But yeah. And then we have 4 Gigantic Meteors. It's the best combo for this deck, honestly. 1 energy, 25k. It's still a snapped card, right? And then we have Jiro's Lab. So Jiro's Lab is our repeated ramp. It's our way to ramp constantly every single turn after, or at least the turn after we establish this. This card is great. And again, we needed to fill out androids so that we could keep this up every single turn. Now, we're going to go over turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, etc. Right? We're going to go over all that. Once you get to beyond turn 4, the World's your oyster. You can play whatever card you want. You obviously want to play it in your bigger monsters, but there are worlds where you would maybe play this 5-drop and just leave some energy open for Gigantic Meteors defensively, things like that. Also, off the Gohan, if you have a Trunks, you could play that at the end of the turn rather than killing something, because the other effect is obviously choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of 3 or less and KO it, or play up to one battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So again, if we play this, we can play this, and then we gain a ramp as well. So, and plus this protects the 3-drop, and then when this gets removed, this becomes a 30k. So there's definitely synergy in this, but we'll start with the turn 1 play. Turn 1, either cantrip, doesn't particularly matter. Android 20, now that I'm looking at this, depending on how our hand is set out, Android 20 might be the preferred play, just because we need to guarantee we have this 17 and 18 on turn 4, right? So there is a world where maybe I do cut the Goku to 3 and put this at 4. Again, testing will tell me that. I'll know what I need to do. Turn 2, Android 18. You draw 1, discard 1. Depending on what you have in hand, we could just discard any Android, right? If we have a Jiro's Lab and we have this in hand, just discard this. Yes, it's a 10k combo, or this, doesn't matter. Just put an Android in the drop, right? That's the whole point of this, so that we can get that ramp. Once we're at 6 or more, obviously she draws cards, but she's probably not surviving beyond maybe the turn or the turn after she's played. Turn 3, we go into Jiro's Lab. That taps us out. Jiro's Lab costs an energy to ramp, but we don't have the energy available to us. But that's fine. We're okay with this. We tap 3, we Jiro's Lab, we pass. We go into turn 4. This is the spice. This is the beauty of this. We're at 4 energy, right? So Jiro's Lab, you tap 1, you ramp an Android inactive. So we're at 5 energy, but 4 active. Then, you play the Android 17 and 18 for 4 energy. You put, sorry, you put 2 of your tapped energy into the drop. So the energy you spend to play this card can be placed in the drop. So just make sure that you're tapping down your Androids that are already in energy. And then what you do is you ramp 3 Androids back. So essentially what we're doing is we're going from 4 energy to 5 with 4 active. We then tap all 4 to put 2 cards into the drop, or 2 energy into the drop. Then we re-ramp 3 inactive. So we've then gone from 5 to 6 with 3 active, and then now that we're at 6 energy, we play Trunks. And if you're at 5 or more energy, you add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your energy in rest mode. So on that turn, we go from 4 from Jiro's Lab to 5. The Androids goes from 5 to 6. Trunks goes from 6 to 7. And we fielded 220ks that turn. So we also have attack power if we need it. But we're now at 7 energy, meaning that going into our turn 5 when we charge, we're at 8. This play is fucking stupid. This is absolutely crazy, right? Depending again on the deck you're up against and how aggressive they are, this might not be the best play every time. But if we're playing against green, for example, us being able to get to 8 energy that fast, we can do it much quicker than they can now. Android 17 and 18 has always been kind of, especially with Broly, it's always been behind the curve, right? They need to awaken. If we start attacking and we awaken them, then they will likely get to their 8 energy before we do. But in set 2, that's completely changed now. So like I said, I'm going to go over that play again. It's not like complicated. You just need to make sure that your board state is set up correctly, that your drop is set up correctly. But 4 energy, we tap 1 for Jiro's Lab, we ramp an Android. Let's say it's this Android 20. It doesn't matter. Whatever Android. We're now at 4 active energy with 5 energy total. We then tap 4 for the Android 17 and 18. We put 2 of the energy in the drop, ideally Androids, because we want to re-ramp Androids. That's kind of the idea. But these then come back in active mode, which leaves us with 3 open energy, which we can then spend for Trunks. And that puts us at 7 energy at the end of that turn. It's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that we, from 4 energy, have ramped to 7 in that turn. And then the very next turn we go to 8 once we charge. It's crazy. It's absolutely dumb. Once again, depending on the board state, if we need to start controlling our opponent a bit better, we have these 220k attackers. We also have this potentially, or this going into the next turn. We could Broly. We theoretically can Broly as well. It doesn't matter. Honestly, when you get to that 8 energy, this is the point where you just choose what's best for the current state. So if my opponent has a wide board, maybe I play the androids, kill 2 of their battle cards, attack into the other. We have a 30k leader, we have a 40k double striker. We don't have to attack life, guys. This is the thing. You don't always have to attack life. If we're playing against red and we clear their board, they're in deep shit. They're in so much trouble because they cannot gain their board quicker than we can field 40ks and 45ks, and cards are just going to repeatedly kill their cards every turn. they can't deal with it, right? Yellow's in a very similar state. Very, very similar state. Apart from if they go mid-range build rather than aggressive, a lot of the big cards that we're going to look to kill, they're going to be 4 or higher, meaning that Broly is realistically our only play. But yeah, it's absolutely stupid. Once we hit that turn 4, we can then go into our 8 drops, and at any point, any of these become valuable, apart from obviously the super combo, but we can tap 5, we would leave 3 open energy, meaning we have, you know, we could even play an Android 18 and leave energy open for Meteor for the defensive. This is crazy. Like, I think that this deck is absolutely wild next set. There's certain, like I said, certain matchups like aggro matches we might struggle against because by the time we get to turn 5, we might be very weak on life. It could be very difficult, but I think that against green, this is by far the best build for green. I think that we could absolutely step on green consistently with this build. I think we could step on blue. Vegeta is going to be a monster next set. I'm going to put a deck profile on Vegeta in a couple of days' time. Vegeta next set is going to be monstrous, and I'm talking blue starter Vegeta, by the way. But yeah, for blue as it stands, I think that we can essentially slow down their awaken as well. So we can maybe stall the game out long enough where this play still becomes very viable. And then yellow, they lock down our cards. They don't particularly go wide with the new reveals. So if they still play the Ginyu aggro package, fine, right? They do. There's nothing we can do about that. We just, by the time that we can set up, maybe just go into the 17 and 18, just clear off the board and just control that. But yeah, like I said, when we hit that turn 4, our turn 4 is completely set, by the way. The best optimal play is lab into 17 and 18 and then into Trunks. Worst case scenario, we lab into Vegeta, we control the board if we don't see a guarantee of both of these. For me personally, if I didn't have Trunks in hand and I had this in hand, and this, I would still rather Vegeta. Just because Vegeta just allows us the ability to start killing battle cards. That's pretty much the only reason. But you need to have these 3. So this needs to be established on turn 3, and then you need these 2 for turn 4. That's how we get off that play that's absolutely crazy. And yeah, and like I said, turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, turn 8, whatever. We're going to consistently keep ramping with lab. So we're going to build our energy very fast, and we're going to keep our energy high. There was a world, because there are some cell cards, you know, for example, the cell 3 drop, which is also an Android. We have to keep in mind that the cell cards are Android, so we can play them in this deck, for sure. But the 3 drop cell that ramps an Earthling means that we could ramp our Trunks, but the problem is that we don't have access to the energy in the same turn to do that, realistically, not until we're at 6 energy, and for me that's not a 6 energy play. So I chose not to run the cells. Again, there are worlds where I maybe try the build at some point and see how I feel about it. I just think that as far as optimal builds go, this is Android 17 an absolute T. Like I said, this play here between these 3 cards is stupid good. Stupid good. You know, if we put this on par with Broly, right, I'm going to have to try and map this out in my brain, right? Broly's going to be on 3 energy, they're going to destructive strength. They're then going to go into 5 energy on the next turn. Meaning, and they could even be at 6, depending if they've been forced to awaken, or if they've just chosen to awaken. It just depends on how those turns play out. But they then either play this Gohan for 5 to then play the Trunks, meaning that they gain another ramp. So at best, they're only ramping 1 more, right? Meaning that on their turn 3, they go to 5 energy. On their turn 4, they then go to... turn 3, they go to 4, they then charge to 5, they then tap 5, they go to 6, they then charge again, and the next turn they go to 7. They're a turn behind. They're a turn behind us when we go for our 8 drop. Broly into Broly, all that chain still exists. You know, if I play my Broly first, then they play theirs, it sucks. But there's nothing we can do about that. I honestly think in this build, there's actually a reason to cut Cell to 1 and put this at 4. That might be the better play. Cell is only good in this deck as a kind of, if the game's going well and we just want to gain that extra life and kill 2 battle cards. Again, I love Cell for its ability to just kill 2 battle cards. So if they have, like, you know, a 5 drop and a 4 drop on board, we can just clear them both with Cell and we gain a life back. The problem I hate with it is, in this leader particularly, we are dropping 3 energy, meaning we go back to 5. and then we ramp up to 7, or sorry, we ramp to 7 energy with Jiro's Lab, but we stay at 6 active energy. Meaning we can still do this in the following turn, but honestly, I need to playtest this like actually physically, or with when the cards release in what 10 days time or 9 days time from when this video is released. So I need to playtest with the deck a lot for sure. I do really need to test, but I think that this deck is a sleeper, guys. I really think this is a sleeper. Us being able to ramp that consistently, we have so many tools. Like, even if this doesn't play out perfect and we don't, you know, the stars don't align and we don't get this, there's still a guaranteed turn 4 ramp pretty much between both of these, right? There should be a guaranteed turn 4 ramp, and then turn 5 we can play this into this if we wanted to. It just depends. Again, we could also go into the androids because we will be at 6 energy at that point. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I think that this deck is a wild next set for sure. So I hope you've all enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm going to upload multiple of these. There's probably not going to be many gameplay videos for the next few days. I'm just going to try and record as many of these deck profiles as I can and just put them out in preparation for set 2. I think in the lead up to set 2 now, let's say at the time of recording, set 2 is 9 days away, 10 days away. So I think in preparation for that, I would rather just put out these deck profiles. I think that people would appreciate them more. Everybody's seen set 1 gameplay. There's nothing new coming, but I think that if I can put together some inspiration for you guys for set 2, even if it's wrong, but there might be some things I've put in there that you've just not thought of, and I think I've nailed it with 17, honestly. I think that these 3 are just ridiculous value for turn 4. So yeah, so I'm going to put together, I'll probably do one of each colour every day. If people put in requests for leaders, certainly I'll have a look at it, but I am going to record probably 3 videos today, just so that I have content for the next 3 days for the very minimum. Or, well, the next 4 days technically, including this video. And then from there, I'll be more than happy to look at what people are wanting me to build, and if it's not already recorded, it'll probably be next up on the list. So, but yeah, that's the idea, guys. I hope you all enjoy this. Please give me feedback on this if you think that this is, if this is good. If you don't want to see this, obviously, I'll maybe upload a couple of videos for decks I enjoy, and then I'll maybe just go back to gameplay videos. But please leave comments. Let me know if you like this, if you want me to keep doing this. But yeah, I think that set 2 is going to be crazy, guys. I'm so looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very good. Set 2 brings us some new mechanics as well, like KO protection, which is very good. And green suffers from that KO protection, by the way, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So yeah, so like I said, guys, I love this. This was fun for me. I enjoy talking when it comes to giving deck profiles and things like that. So hope you've all enjoyed it, and if you have, please leave a like, and if you're not already, please subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.